to edit it. There it goes.
That's okay.
Now it's working.
Got it.
Okay.
We have 2 different recordings now?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Ready? Starting. My name is Laura Green.
I'm Brandy Talbot.
And I'm Bonnie Dries. And we have our art integration piece for you. And it is called Algal Beauty. And what we actually have is a diatom, which is a major group of algae. And I looked that up. And so specifically this type of diatom is a unicellular organism that in this case is in a kind of a feathery, sinewy type of formation. So it's kind of interesting just to look at that. So some science content that you can pull out of this is basically anything in any subject. So with chemistry, it's mostly in the application of the ink and the batik ink with the concentration gradients and the dilution process that you go through just to get the right colors, and as well as osmosis in laying down salts to create textures. And we actually have some accidental textures from, we had some crumbs from our resist that came off and made some really nice stippling effects in the middle, as well as just some kind of flowiness that looks really cool. And in biology, you can obviously look at the unicellular organism part of diatoms and take a look at the model that is created here. So that cross-cutting concept there in modeling. And in physics, this original picture was actually taken with a polarized lens. So you can take a look at what polarizing does to different wavelengths of light and see what goes on with that. And in geology and earth science, you've got an application of remote sensing that's really interesting.
As far as the art concepts go, a lot of you guys know that in art is unvalued in a lot of school systems. So through doing projects like this in collaboration with arts and science, I feel like this can bring more value to the arts as far as goes for the students, the teachers, and the administration. A lot of times they feel like art has no content or doesn't expand into different content areas, and this is a great example of how exactly that does do it and how it does relate to the real world. So for the art content area as a whole, this project is extremely important as us as educators to go out and use within our own curriculum. As far as the physical art content goes, we have 3 basic emphasis of the elements of design within our image. So we have different textures, abstraction, and the use of color theory. Through mixing colors with palettes and on the silk, we have created a variation of color and mixing within the silk pieces itself and just on normal terms. The texture captured throughout our image is applied mainly throughout the border with the salt and the accidental resist residence. As far as the abstraction goes, as you can see with our large image behind us, it is extremely complicated. To capture that with ink, it would be almost impossible, as we all found out. So abstracting our image was essential to our project. We just broke ours down into simple shapes, the major shapes we found within our image, and then put the resist between so that we could capture the differentiation of the color.
All right, so the next piece is the article, and we have the art and craft. And this article discusses how arts and crafts are valuable to the component of scientific discovery and innovation. Art education encourages individual differences, sense of perception, visualization, and modeling. The skills developed with art education allow scientists to better visualize the concepts they're working with. It also enables them the mechanical skills necessary to build their models for experimentation. An example of a scientist who used this and who had a lot of art education is Albert Einstein. And he was able to visualize what it would be like if he was in space with different variables and what would happen, and that helped enhance his development of space and science, which revolutionized our understanding of physics. Other valuable points in the article are that the drawing and painting classes improve visual imaging and memory test scores, which raise ACT and SAT scores. It is also a new concept to me. They said that art also levels socioeconomic issues, in that if art is integrated into a student's life throughout their education, it reduces some of the socioeconomic complications that follow them through their education. And in summary, this activity in particular allowed us to explore the art concepts mentioned by Ms. Green and the science concepts mentioned by Ms. Dries. And in addition, we utilized the modeling as we represented our algal diatom image on the silk with the art application. We also integrated engineering design as we used our sensitive frames. And we thought that, in addition, if we were to use this in a classroom, we could first let the students solve the problem of how to frame their silks and then work through that. And we basically just came to the conclusion that art and science are interdependent. And so it's extremely valuable to make sure that we incorporate art into our science education classes and science into art education indeed. Any questions? All right, thank you.